April 26, 1986, at 1:23 in the morning. Something exploded inside the Soviet Union. Not a bomb, not a missile, a nuclear reactor. The explosion was so powerful that workers nearby thought a war had started. Pieces of radioactive graphite rained onto the roof. The air itself became poisonous. But the most terrifying part wasn't the explosion. It was what happened next. Because for hours, nobody admitted what had actually happened. Children played outside. Families stood on bridges watching the glowing fire in the distance. By the time the world realized the truth, it was already too late. This is the story of Chernobyl, and how one night of lies, arrogance, and human error became the worst nuclear disaster in history. To understand Chernobyl, we need to understand the Soviet Union. During the Cold War, the USSR wanted to prove something to the world, that communism could outbuild, outpower, and outlast the West. Everything became a competition. Space, weapons, industry, energy, and nuclear power became one of the Soviet Union's greatest symbols of progress. Massive reactors were constructed across the country. One of them stood near the border of modern-day Ukraine, the Vladimir Ilyich Lenin Nuclear Power Plant. Most people simply called it Chernobyl. Next to the plant, the Soviets built a brand new city from scratch, Pripyat. Modern apartments, schools, parks. Pripyat wasn't supposed to become a ghost town. It was supposed to become a model Soviet city. And for a while, it worked. Engineers prepared for a safety test. The goal sounded simple. If the plant suddenly lost power, could the spinning turbines generate enough electricity for a short period before backup generators activated? It was supposed to be routine, but almost immediately, things began going wrong. The test was delayed for hours because the electrical grid in Kiev still needed power. That delay created a chain reaction of mistakes. By the time the test finally resumed late at night, the experienced day shift workers had already left. The exhausted night crew took over instead. Then another problem appeared. The reactor's power dropped far lower than intended. Operators panicked. To raise power back up, they began disabling safety systems. One by one, automatic shutdown systems, emergency protections, control mechanisms. The reactor was becoming increasingly unstable. Then at 1:23 a.m., everything collapsed. Inside reactor number 4, power suddenly surged, violently. Operators inside the control room watched in confusion as the reactor became unstable beyond recovery. Then everything happened at once. The fuel rods overheated. Steam pressure exploded through the reactor core. And seconds later, a second blast tore through the building. The 2,000-ton reactor lid was launched into the air. Concrete shattered. The roof collapsed. And for the first time in human history, the core of a nuclear reactor was exposed directly to the atmosphere. Workers outside stopped and stared upward in disbelief. Some later described the light as beautiful, a strange blue glow rising into the night sky above the reactor. They had no idea they were looking at radiation. The city still slept peacefully. Streetlights glowed across Pripyat. Families slept inside apartment blocks just kilometers away. Children rested beneath open windows as radioactive particles drifted silently through the night air. At 1:23 a.m. on April 26, 1986, the Soviet Union crossed into a disaster it could no longer control. And by the time the world understood what had happened, it was already too late.